If you asked me last week how I was celebrating Thanksgiving and I answered, my family doesn't really celebrate Thanksgiving, I lied. I lied. I'm sorry. Once upon a time, in the year 1999, I celebrated Thanksgiving with my mommy, daddy, sisters, and even my maternal pappy. And yeah, we would eat until our bellies were full. We would end the night watching a movie, listening to reggae or Mario or Brandy. But then my parents ended up moving out of the state. The siblings that remained in New York, we tried to continue doing the thing, like we would try to gather and cook and eat, and it just wasn't the same because we were disconnected. And eventually people started doing their own thing. And as time went on, yeah, we stopped celebrating. Sometimes I have a cousin that will force me to host. We didn't have Thanksgiving together as an extended family this year because she just delivered two beautiful baby boys. Congratulations. But normally she'll twist my arm and I will host Thanksgiving, which is usually a good time. It'll be a few cousins and their partners and children, and my aunts and uncle and siblings. This year, I just wanted to be kind of low key. So I decided to order out. I never ordered takeout just about. In my adult life, I probably ordered takeout about 4 times. I do not take out anything. I usually like to cook and prepare and know what I'm eating. But this year, I wanted to know I wasn't washing a pot or pan. So I even ordered dessert. Like I didn't do nothing. We ate from disposable plates and plastic forks and spoons. I'm sorry. I was just so grateful that there was no dishes to wash when we were done. Okay? And that is what I gave thanks for this year. No dishes. I hate washing dishes. I don't like dishes in the sink, but I don't love that I don't have an automatic dishwasher. And for right now, these hands are it. One of the things that I did is I FaceTimed my family this year, which don't ask me why. It's not something that I always do on the holidays, but it felt like I was with them. I spent most of Thanksgiving FaceTiming my 5-year-old nephew. You can't tell me he didn't know we were together for Thanksgiving, okay? We played the games together. I was playing Roblox with him. Even though we weren't together, there was a bit of togetherness that we planned. And that is what I would say. If you struggle with the holidays, which I know the holidays are challenging, as you're going through life transitions, be strategic. Plan what it is that you're doing. Even if you're deciding to celebrate alone, make sure that you have your whole day set out. Know what you're going to be making or what you're going to be buying to eat. Make sure you have your Netflix playlist saved. Just make sure you do everything according to plan. That way you don't have the moment to feel bummed about being removed from a community or from your family, or feeling, even lonely. If you're watching this video and you're thinking, well, Chastity, I invited you. You did, and I thank you. Like, this was a plan. I wanted to celebrate Thanksgiving alone, without preparation, without fuss. And, my sister joins, but she was on the same page as I was. Like, we didn't want anything fussy. And it was perfect. I lost my thought. My dad just called and just completely kicked out what I was going to say.
A few
Huh.
moments later.
I was saying, I don't remember what I was saying. I know how hard it can get. Don't suffer alone. If you think you're going to need to be plugged into a community of people, or you're going to have somebody sitting across from you this holiday, then you have to make sure you're planning that, okay? Don't wait for the invitation. See what other people are doing and see if it's okay for you to join. Like, is it all right if I come with? Because I don't want to celebrate alone. Ain't nothing wrong with saying that. Nothing wrong with saying that. I wish I thought about doing that sooner. certainly, I definitely celebrated several Thanksgivings alone and definitely didn't want to. You got to think about what you can do to feel surrounded. During the Thanksgiving weekend, I came to the conclusion that I needed a vacation, which I already knew, but that I was going to have to take this vacation alone. And it's like I can do so many things alone. Like I feel like I'm by myself most of the time. But when I think about vacating, I don't know. I'm not imagining doing it alone. I can't wait for someone to present, and I don't feel comfortable with asking someone to spend a coin on the account of my wanting to go away on vacation. And so I scheduled my first solo trip. I didn't plan an itinerary just yet. I only purchased the hotel and flight, but I am definitely going to make sure I have my list of things that I want to do so that there isn't a moment that presents where I'm just like, oh, why did I do this alone? And the one thing that I know for sure that I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my work phone at home. Okay. So if you work with me, please take this as notice that for those dates, I will be out of office. Okay. And I will not be able to respond to your emails because I won't know that you're sending them. And there may be an emergency. And if that happens, I need you to reach out to my covering colleague. And if you don't know who that is, it might be you. I don't know. It might be you. Thanks in advance. So let's normalize taking breaks, right? Because it's not that serious. Meanwhile, I'm like falling apart or having a hard time handling all of my responsibilities between work and life. And all I needed is a woosah from all the things that have me feeling overcommitted. So, yeah, no, let's normalize taking a break. In the spirit of Thanksgiving, I do want to share this one thing. Earlier this year, I woke up one Saturday morning and I was depressed. I knew I was struggling with depression and it lingered for so long, like weeks, months, even. And I woke up on Saturday morning and I think I was just tired of being depressed. I was tired of feeling deflated. And so I started crying from exhaustion. I knew what was weighing down on me, but I didn't have a resolution. It wasn't something that I could fix. It just was something that existed, that I just had to carry. And I cried for hours and I was just like, okay, you need a change of scenery. Let's get up, let's go. I decided I was going to do errands. Like, why not? Let's go get groceries. So I got dressed. I went to the grocery store. And while on the way to the grocery store, I began crying. And in the parking lot, I am very certain that I can't get out the car. And I decided to drive further away from the entrance where I could just sit in the car and just weep. Fast forward to this Thanksgiving Eve. I went to the store to buy my supplies for sorrel. I was making sorrel. And as I pulled up and parked, there was a song on the radio that I liked. And I was just like, oh, let me finish listening to the song. And I just was like, just jamming in the car. I was having a good old time. And while I was dancing in the car, my mind went back to the last time I sat in the parking lot. And this time it was because I was dancing for joy. Not only has time passed, I'm not who I was. I'm not where I was. I'm not carrying what I was. I felt so proud of myself to discover that moment, to realize the other side, that I made it over. Everything isn't where I want it to be, but I still honor that it certainly isn't what it could be, as in like worse, and it certainly wasn't what it was. You know what I mean? If you do anything this holiday season, plan for joy. You have to plan for joy. That is something that I learned this year, that joy doesn't happen. Joy has to be curated. It has to be cultivated. It needs to be proactively inserted it's sure it can be reactionary to something you experience, but when you have so much going on in life, for there to be life balance, you need to work on the balance and counter whatever it is that's holding you down. You need to figure out what things are going to lift you up, and you need to be very strategic about doing that. So, in the words of Chit, do it, lady. Yeah.